Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. The Luan Darga stand on their last leg, and now there remains only one willing to make sure the Luan destiny is fulfilled and the defeat of the Al Ghuls is ensured. As time passes, Damien receives an alert from a submarine, and with what he's been keeping there, he's hoping they have not taken it. When he gets down to the submarine, he discovers that the submarine has been robbed. It's been the 3 items from the Year of Blood vault. He makes his way to Mexico riding Goliath, debating on calling for help from Maya. But he decides not to, because if the world is going to end tomorrow, she'll get to live her last day in peace. You see, when Damien was a child, he was sent off on a Year of Blood to gather these items. What he didn't know is that they were there to keep the Luan from being awoken and destroying the Al Ghuls. But in an attempt to redeem himself, he returned all of the items, not knowing that this would in fact release the Luan and the end of the world. But what he doesn't know is the girl that worked with him last time, Maya, to return all of the items, she's already been dragged into this war. Goliath comes crashing into an altar, and Damien tells him hopefully he was wrong and the serpent heart has not been returned to this place. Back on the beach with Maya, her trouble is soon to begin when Talia Al Ghul arrives, having ordered the ninjas to capture her, and Talia tells Maya that she's made a mistake for being in Al Ghul territory. As Damien walks towards the altar, hoping that it has not been returned, he looks up to see that he was right. The serpent heart is right there. But before he can do anything, the Luan appear and they begin to attack. Goliath quickly jumps in to punch away the attackers, and Damien throws a batarang, hitting one of them in the nose. Goliath then grabs the Luan attackers to continue his battle. Damien looks back towards the serpent heart and he sees the ribs of the skeleton begin to turn into snakes and they begin to crawl around. So he calls to Goliath to come. They must leave. There are 2 items left, and the next place they must go to is half a world away. Elsewhere, Talia takes Maya and questions her on Damien's vault being broken into. The only people who knew about it were her trusted servants, Damien and Maya. Maya tells her that she hates the Al Ghuls, but Damien is a friend to her and she wouldn't sell him out. For the time being, she'll just have to remain on Talia's ship until she decides that she's ready to talk. Because if it wasn't Maya who broke into the vault, then who was it? Talia will discover it. Over in the Congo Basin, a Luan Darga begins to clear the path for his master, and as he tells him to follow him, an orb appears and starts to cut the man into pieces with lasers. A hand reaches out of the bushes and destroys the orb with fire. Then the rest of the orbs, and he tells the man that he, Surin Darga, son of Den Darga, will accept his death as a tribute to their goals. Surin looks up to see the shadow of Damien and Goliath, and he tells his men that his death will only sweeten their accomplishments. Right after, they return the next artifact to Gorilla City. Damien begins to fly towards Gorilla City, but the Luan Darga has already begun their attack. Goliath lands on top of some of the soldiers, and then the 2 of them begin to make their way into the temple. Just outside of the temple, Surin makes his way closer to the temple when Damien and Goliath come bursting through the wall. Damien looks at Surin, and he tells him, "But you're just a child." And Surin says, "No more of a child than he is." And now he will give him a gift from one son to another. Surin holds out his arm and he begins to spray fire at Damien, but Goliath manages to jump in the path of it and shield Damien, and then begins to get him away. Damien doesn't have much time to recover when the attack on him begins again, and he begins to jump away using his grappling hook. Surin continues to make his way into the temple, and he starts to clear out the guards while Damien is trying to catch back up to him. He can't allow him to return this artifact. As Damien gets in, the rest of Surin's men begin to gang up on Damien, but he manages to fight his way through them until it's just Surin and him. Damien jumps in to kick, but Surin catches him by the leg and throws him into a nearby pillar. Once Damien is defeated, Surin orders his men to place the helmet back on the altar. But before they can, a giant boot cracks one of the men in the face. When Surin asks, "Who dares get in their way?" Batman tells him, "I dare." Damien looks back at his father, now having finally returned, and Surin uses that chance to attack and begin to call forth the fire again towards Damien. Batman drops the helmet that he took from the soldier and he jumps in to rescue his son. Damien tells him that he knew he wouldn't leave him. Batman never dies! But now, a soldier picks up the helmet and begins to jump up to place it on the altar, and that's when Maya tries to stop it, but she falls short. Surin begins to laugh, telling them that the Luan Darga are close to their victory, and once his family returns, everyone will watch as the end of all life arrives. Surin tries to escape, but Maya jumps on his back, and before Damien can stop him, Maya and Surin disappear. Batman and Talia finish cleaning up the rest of the soldiers, and they sort of seem like they're getting along now, but Maya is still gone. Damien asks why would his mother bring Maya with her? She was happy! And Talia tells him that Maya was actually a spy for the Luan. She led them to the vault. Damien tells her that that is impossible. Maya fought by his side. Don't even start to talk about her that way. The three of them begin to walk out, and Damien asks his parents if they can work with him and not fight each other. Because right now, they have no time to waste if they plan on stopping Surin. Their final chance of saving all of the living things on Earth awaits them on Dinosaur Island. But once they get to the island, they find Maya lying face down with an arrow in her back. Talia says that that's strange though. She gave immunity to Maya from the Luan toxins just in case she went suicidal like the other Luan Darga. Maya looks back and says that she's not dead, so thanks for that. But Surin did put a bomb under her and she kinda doesn't know what to do with it now. Batman tells them that he can disarm it, but it's just gonna take a few minutes. A few minutes that Damien will not wait on. So Talia and him begin to head off into battle. Damien hops on Goliath and he begins to fly towards the volcano, which contains the last altar. As they fly in, soldiers begin to jump onto Damien, telling him that only the blood of the true guardians of the Lazarus Pit can open the way. Damien continues to fly until he plunges straight into the liquid and he lands out on the other end. And Surin tells him that his blood may be as good as his, but he can't stop him now. He has the last artifact, the Eye of the Sleeper. And once he returns it to its rightful place, the power of the Luan Darga will fully awaken. Damien quickly throws a batarang, knocking Surin's helmet off, but that's when worms begin to appear and attack Damien. Surin drops the eyeball into the pit, but Damien manages to dive in after it, catching it before it can fall. Damien and Surin struggle over the eye, and Damien tells him that you're just as insane as your father. Another worm lunges at Damien, knocking him away, and while Damien fights with the worm, Surin drops the eye. A green pillar of light shoots out of the pit, and Surin shouts out that the time has come! Finally, they will be able to cleanse the stain of life on this world and remake it under the guidance of the Darga. Damien jumps in, punching Surin, telling him that he won't allow that. The world will remain, and the ground beneath them begins to rise and shake as the two of them start to fight each other. Damien asks if Surin even knows how the magic of the Luan work. His spirit will not live on. Everything that his father told him is a lie. They exchange blow for blow, and Surin refuses to believe that. He must be lying. His father raised him from the dead for this purpose. He will return to him. Surin gets on top of Damien to finally end the fight, but before he can land the finishing blow, his arm is strung up and Batman swings in while the rest of them check on Damien. Damien gets back up, telling Surin that he is just being used as a weapon of conquest. Does he really want to die here? Is there nothing that he enjoyed on Earth? His father will only dispose of him, but Surin refuses to believe it. That's not true! My father loves me! Batman begins to fight off more of the worms, and Damien asks, does he really? If he did, why would he wait to return you from the dead? Why return you at the end of the world? Surin stops and says, no, he just didn't have the power. But that's when Damien cuts him off. Really? He couldn't find any Lazarus pits? No magic? All of those years? Surin begins to cry and Damien asks him, can you stop this? And Surin tells him yes. He turns and he begins to call off the spell, and soon everything begins to settle down. And once it's finally over, Surin turns to Damien to tell him, no one's ever spoken to me like that before. So Damien jumps in and punches him, knocking him out. He walks away stating, how could he never question his stupid family's stupid
Welcome to Ready to Rumble! It's the battle show where the winner gets met.
plan until now. Batman and Talia begin to argue over what they should have done. Talia decided that she should have let Damien do this on his own, but Batman says that he is their son. As the two of them go on bickering, Maya says that she's sorry for them fighting, but Damien says they'll stop after a while. One might be unconscious, but they will stop. Meanwhile, I have my family. Later on Talia's ship, she says that she'll wait until he's awake, and then she'll interrogate him with no harm. Don't worry, Batman. He doesn't need to die. She tells Damien that she's very proud of him. He really is an Al Ghul, and right now, she needs to speak to his father alone. Talia pulls Batman away, and that's when Damien whispers to Maya, Surin is a fool, but he is a child. My mother's going to use him to advance the Al Ghul. So why not break him free when no one's looking? If she wants, she can go back to her life and then go back to the beach. But Maya just laughs and tells him, nah, I'm with you. So the next day, with their plan to free Surin before the Al Ghuls can use him complete, Damien, Maya, and Surin all sit at the dinner table, and Surin asks how much do they expect to eat? He's about to burst. And Maya tells him, it's called dessert. Have you not had it before? And he tells her that his father forbid him to indulge in mortal poisons. As the three of them continue to talk, Goliath begins to smell something, but before he can react, Luan Darga's soldiers appear and begin attacking. Surin tells Damien and Maya that they can release him now. He can stop the Luan from coming. While Damien and Maya fight, the soldiers suddenly stop and die. Damien turns his attention to Surin, asking what has he done? But soon, he too falls, and Maya yells out that it seems to be an energy drain. She has something that can keep at least Surin alive and with them. She begins to scan the area and states that it looks like the energy is going somewhere. So Damien decides that they're gonna follow it. Everyone hops in the back of Goliath and they begin to make their way to Russia, where they find all of the energy is going. Goliath lands and Damien and Maya begin to head over to see where it's going, and that's when they run into an invisible barrier. He says that he thought her helmet was good at picking up invisible energy, and she tells him nobody's perfect. But that's when from behind them, Surin tells them that this was his father's personal temple. I have free passage here, and that's when he opens up the path for Damien and Maya. Everyone begins to enter the temple until they reach the bottom, and that's where they see all of the energy is going. Damien gives them a 3 count to charge in, and that's when they all start running and attacking. But soon, the battle is stopped with a sound of laughter. Damien looks up and realizes that is Den Darga. Den looks down and says, "Of course, an Al Ghul! How could this all end until I finally get to rip your hearts out?" Surin calls out to Den, and Den turns to see Surin and is surprised that he's still alive. He tells him that this crystal is his spirit battery, a contingency plan if the Lu-Un Darga apocalypse was thwarted. But seeing Surin alive means that he's just a failure. Nothing but a coward and incompetent. Surin asks, is it true that only his soul would remain after everything? And Den tells him that's right, and I have the only weapon, and now I will end this right here. He then grabs Surin by the neck, and Surin reaches back, telling him, yes, we will end this right here. And his hands begin to ignite. With Den stunned, Goliath flies in, slamming him against the wall. And then Maya and Damien take turns beating into Den until there's almost nothing left. He crawls to the crystal, telling them that it doesn't matter now. They'll all be dead soon. So even if his body fails, the spell will complete itself. Maya asks him what they should do, and Damien says he already told them. It's the battery. So the only thing they need to do is pull the spirits like Den did. Damien hooks onto the crystal and tells Surin to see if he can do like his father. And if he can do the same thing as Den, then he needs to guide them through these wires, because if it's a battery, they can short it out. Den tells him that if he does that, the discharge will kill him, but Den himself will still remain. So Maya calls out to Damien to stop, and he just tells Goliath to get everyone out of there and leave. Goliath begins to take off as soon the crystal explodes, throwing Damien to the ground. The blast sent Goliath back to the ground, and Maya runs over to check on Damien, but he's gone. Surin looks up and tells Maya, wait, Damien's right here. He's with the spirits. So Surin calls out to him, Damien, son of the Al Ghul. But Maya tells him not to call him that. He is Robin, son of Batman. He's a hero and her brother. Damien's spirit begins to hear their call, but that's when Den's spirit grabs a hold of him. Surin begins to ignite his hands and he blasts towards Den, and then an explosion goes off. Maya looks down at Damien, telling him they still have so much to do, like finish that ice cream. And Damien struggles to get out the words. It wasn't that good. Damien starts to get back up, telling everyone that it looked like they succeeded. Well done, everyone. While Maya yells at Damien for not even thanking them for saving his life, he gets a call over his comm. Batman radios in, telling him that he's 3 hours late, and then the channel switches over and it's Talia telling him to bring Surin back. But Damien just tells them thank you for checking on him. He's fine. He then turns to Maya and Surin and asks, what are you waiting for? Adventure awaits! Let's go! Now, this is the conclusion of the last Damian Wayne storyline, as he moves into the new Teen Titans book with Rebirth, and that's where